friends, and today I'm here to tell you a story called Rapunzel. Mr. and Mrs. Rose lived in a small house that looked onto a beautiful a garden that never dared enter because it belonged to a wicked witch and powerful witch. Mrs. Rose would sit by her window and gaze at the garden for hours. But lately, she had spent a lot of time thinking about food today. I'd like chocolate pudding stuffed with spinach, she decided. Mr. Rose wasn't surprised. Ever since you've been pregnant, he said, you wanted to eat oddest things. Oh, or perhaps Mrs. Rose went on, I have bananas, juices, and sprout. Toothpaste. Oh, yes, that would be lovely. Are you sure? Asked Mr. Rose. Yes, Mrs. Rose replied. I'm up here still thinking something might be missing. Wait a moment, Mrs. Rose cried, pointing into the witch's garden. That's it. What is that vegetable? Oh, it looks so green and juicy. I must have it. Mr. Rose looked. Well, you can't have it, he said. I'm not going in that garden. The witch would eat me alive. If I don't have that plant, I'll die, said Mrs. Rose. She began to cry. After 3 hours of sobbing, Mr. Rose gave in. That night he crept into the witch's garden. These vegetables all look the same. In the dark, he thought, how am I meant to know which one she wants? So he grabbed the nearest vegetable at nearest home. You stupid sausage, cried Mr. Rose. You've brought me a turpin. You'll have to go back again. Next time, Mr. Rose looked carefully around the garden. Well, this one has green leaves. It must be the right, he thought. But as he pulled it out of the ground, he shuddered. A full smell he had cracked up his nose. He looked up and screamed. The witch was in front of him. Mr. Rose could smell her disgusting witchy breath. How dare you steal my Rapunzel? The witch cried. I'll make you pay for this thieving little pimple. I'll eat you alive, she hissed, a nasty glint in her eye. I'm sure you'll be very tasty. But please don't eat me, begged Mr. Rose. He was shaking with fear. I was taking it for my wife. She's about to have a baby. He stammered. Said the witch thoughtfully. A baby? She paused for a moment. I'll make you deal. With you, I won't kill you, and you can have as much as Rapunzel as you like. Thank you. But you must give me the baby as soon as it's born. Mr. Rose was terrified. He agreed. He walked slowly home, shaking his head with worry. Maybe she'll change her mind, he thought desperately. But as soon as his wife gave birth to their daughter, the witch appeared. The child is mine, she cried. She gave a wicked grin, and I shall call her Rapunzel. After the plant you stole, now give Mr. Rose wept and wept. Don't take my baby, she pleaded. But the witch won't give in. She snatched the baby and vanished. Too late. The deal is done. Rapunzel lived with the witch for 11 years. She was treated like a slave. Get me 10 slugs for my spell. The older she grew, the more beautiful Rapunzel became. She had blue eyes and long golden hair. It flowed from the top of her head down her back and all along the ground. Rapunzel is getting too pretty, thought the witch. I'll have to lock her away. Don't want any young man running off with her. On the morning of Rapunzel's 12th birthday, the witch woke her early. I have a lovely surprise for you, she said. We are going to the forest for a picnic. The forest was deep and dark. It didn't seem good choice for a picnic. In the very middle of the forest stood a tower. I don't like it here, Rapunzel, said the witch with a shudder. Hey, 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 hey. Get used to it, cackled the witch, because this is your new home. The witch cast a spell, and Rapunzel found herself in a small room at the very top of the tower. I can't live here, cried Rapunzel. There's no way out, no stairs, no door. You don't need to get out, said the witch. I just need to get in and climb up your hair. Maybe I won't let you, said Rapunzel. Then you'll starve, said the witch with a shudder. Come on, let's try. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let your hair down. Rapunzel waved her hair out of the window. Her long locks tumbled down the tower and landed at the witch's feet. The witch climbed up Rapunzel's hair and into the tower. For years went by. Rapunzel never saw anyone except the old witch. She was very, very bored, and no one in the world knew where Rapunzel was until one day a young handsome prince rode through the forest. Rapunzel spotted him from her window. Help! She cried as loud as she could. Please help me. The prince looked astonished. Don't worry, he called. I'll save you, Supreme on his horse. He galloped to the tower. Prince Hans to the rescue, he called. rode around the tower 3 times. I can't find the door, he said. There's no door, Rapunzel told him. This is a magic tower. I'm being here by a wicked witch. You witch, you must climb up my hair. Well, I've never done that before, said Prince Hans. This is harder than it looks, you know, he added. As he began to climb, what's your name? He asked Rapunzel. She replied. Prince Hans almost fell over her hair laughing. Just what's so funny? Rapunzel asked hugly. You got the same name as a vegetable, said Prince Hans, still chuckling. Oh, said Rapunzel, who thought her name was rather pretty. Perhaps I'm too funny to rescue. Not at all, said Prince Hans. He reached the top of the tower. But how am I going to save you? You're the prince, said Rapunzel. You think of something. Prince Hans looked around the room thoughtfully and spotted a pair of scissors. I know, he cried. I'll cut off your hair and make a rope. Then we both can climb down it. You are not cutting off my hair, said Rapunzel. Have you any idea how long it took to grow? Fine, replied Prince Hans. But you'll have to come up with a better idea. Your hair gets it. Rapunzel thought quickly. Visit me every night and bring a ball of silk with you. I'll wave a ladder from it. But that'll take ages, said Prince Hans. Rapunzel frowned down at him. Which isn't problem, he added quickly. After that, Prince came every evening. He told Rapunzel about his kingdom. I live in a beautiful castle, he said. 3 are courtiers full of fountains and flowers, and birds that touch the sky. As weeks passed, Rapunzel's ladder grew longer and longer. Only one more week, I'll be free, she thought to herself. One morning, Rapunzel the witch called outside. Rapunzel, let your hair. I have some food for you. As the witch climbed up, she pulled a target painfully. On Rapunzel's hair. Ow! Cried Rapunzel. Why do you always touch so much? Prince Hans never hurts me when he climbs. What? Prince Hans, shouted the witch. Who is Prince Hans, you wicked girl? I thought I'd shut you anyway from the world, but you've tricked me. The witch leapt into the tower and quickly grabbed a pair of scissors. She hacked away Rapunzel's hair until it lay in a heap of the floor. I haven't finished, cried the witch. With a powerful spell, she cast Rapunzel into the desert. Then the witch waited for the prince as he smiled on her pink red face. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let your hair down. That night Prince Hans called out to Rapunzel. As usual, her hair came shimmering down. But when the prince reached the sky top of the tower, he gasped in shock. An ugly old crone stood in her place. Where's Rapunzel? He demanded. Rapunzel's gone, said the witch with a sincere laugh. You'll never see her again. Then the witch leaned out of the tower and kissed Prince's hand with the slimy lips. Yuck! Cried the prince. It was a magic kiss. Suddenly the prince's hands were covered in slime. He lost his grip and fell to the ground like a stone. Prince Hans landed in a smack in a thorn bush. It saved his life, but the sharp thorns blinded him. Ah, I can't see. His pain, Prince Hans stood up. I may be blind, he shouted to the witch, but I'll find Rapunzel. Never, she cackled. Prince Hans was wandering for months, seeking Rapunzel. At last, he met a camel seller who told him about a girl with a golden hair and blue eyes living alone in the mild of the desert. Prince Hans heard a driver and the fastest horses he could find. Take me to the desert, he said. Rapunzel watched the carriage arrive in a maze. As Prince Hans stumbled out, she ran to him, put her arms around his neck and wept. Two of her tears fell into Prince Hans' eyes, and he gasped. I can see, he cried. Rapunzel, he said, I never thought I'd say this to a girl named after a vegetable. But will you marry me? Oh, yes, said Rapunzel. Prince Hans took Rapunzel to his castle. The entire kingdom was invited to their wedding, including Mr. and Mrs. Rose. Princess Rapunzel and Prince Hans lived happily together for the rest of their lives. And time they had 3 beautiful children, Pumpkin, Lettuce and Sprout. That was the story. Hope you enjoyed it. Meet you next time.